Well, here is where we begin with another illegal immigrant accused of murdering a Maryland mother. Sounds familiar. Prosecutors are charging Casey Robinson Alexis Barbera Rosa, a Guatemalan national, with the murder of Lesbia Ramira Guerra, his girlfriend and the mother of his two children. The case has drawn some parallels to that of Rachel Morin, another Maryland mom of 5 who was killed by an illegal immigrant. You'll remember her. You see her there. Now, this time around, Democratic Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen took the time to acknowledge this terrible tragedy in a statement. He did so with Rachel Morin as well, I should point out. But he jumped at the chance to hit back at President Trump's immigration agenda. He said this, quote, "I cannot imagine the grief and pain that the family of Miss Guerra is feeling right now. My heart goes out to them during this incredibly difficult time as they mourn her loss. Courts of law are where we punish the guilty and provide for the due process rights of all. That is why it is important to respect the rule of law and the decisions of our courts." Now, Trump border czar Tom Homan joined America's Newsroom this morning. He called out Senator Van Hollen over that statement.
Van Hollen's statement is just ridiculous. If you want more safety for the citizens of Maryland, then stop being a sanctuary state. Work with ICE. When you arrest a public safety threat that's in the country illegally, work with ICE. Let us in that jail so we can get them in the safety and security of jail rather than release them back in the public, which creates a public threat.
So, Julie, 23-year-old Lesbia Milith Ramirez, mother of 2, I'm sure this will lead every broadcast news coverage this evening. I'm sure on the tip of every reporter's tongue in Caroline Levitt's next briefing will be this woman.
It's so sad that it won't be. I mean, because it should be. And I would love for one Democrat to stand up and say, you know what we're doing, what this administration is doing is the right thing. This is just a reminder of not only is the administration doing what should have been done years ago, but this is a reminder to keep on moving on. And I wish that the Democrats would once and for all just recognize the fact that the illegal immigration crisis here is not only dangerous for Americans, it's dangerous for all. I mean, his girlfriend was murdered. He was here illegally. And I guarantee you this guy has a rap sheet. And I hope that the Democrats at least finally acknowledge and step up and start supporting the illegal immigration crisis, but also the deportation, policy that the Trump administration is trying to push forward and getting so much pushback for, which is absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, I think Senator Van Hollen's a little confused on his role. I think he thinks he's a defense attorney for Albrego Garcia and not the senator from Maryland. He put out a paper statement for Rachel Morin, that mother of 5 who lost her life to an illegal immigrant. He puts out a paper statement in this case, but watch him vigorously defend Albrego Garcia on CNN. Watch this.
Because I know what he's said many times in court, and that's the proper forum for debating this. And as we know, the federal district court judge in this case said, and I brought it with me again, and I'm going to read it, no evidence linking Albrego Garcia to MS-13 or to any terrorist activity, period. That has been what Albrego Garcia has been telling the court.
Now, Lisa, Caitlin Collins' question to him was, did you ask Albrego Garcia directly whether he was affiliated with this gang? She asked him that because you think if you're sitting across from the man, you would ask him. And he had to say, no, I did not. So instead of zealously advocating for citizens of Maryland, he thinks he's in a court of law defending Albrego Garcia.
Because it's not about us. It's not about the American citizen. I was having this conversation with Paul Morrow on my podcast the other day. If you look at the Democrats' plan all along to allow this mass illegal immigration, to open our southern border to the floodgates of hell, it's brilliant. I mean, they knew that President Trump was going to get caught up in the courts of trying to deport all these people because you can't adjudicate all of these cases. You already look at the immigration courts. There's a backlog of over 3.6 million cases in the United States. You look at the fact for even the easier, court proceedings for non-asylum cases, it can take up to 2 years, if not more. So they knew that this was going to get caught up in the court system, that he wasn't going to be able to deport all these people, and they were importing a new voter base. And they don't even have to have a pathway to voting for these illegal aliens. It impacts the census. These non-citizens, it impacts the apportionment for the U.S. House of Representatives. It impacts the electoral votes for the presidential race as well. So if you really look at their master plan, even sanctuary cities is kind of brilliant as well. Democrat Congressman Yvette Clarke said this in a congressional hearing, that they need more of these migrants for redistricting purposes. So if you think it's kind of a brilliant plan, disastrous for us, the American citizen, but good for Democrats for retaining power.
Kaylee, it is part of a plan, and they say the quiet part out loud. A bunch of Democrats spoke to Politico. The headline was, Dems see a winning issue in case of man mistakenly deported to El Salvador. I know the administration would take issue with that headline, but nevertheless, it's part of their plan. And I wanted to pull this up. It's a poll. The average American, 56% support deporting all illegal immigrants. That's according to a CNN poll. So their plan may jive with this leftist extremist voting base of their party, but it doesn't jive with nearly 60% of the American people.
No, it's an absolute short-term political loser. I think about a Rasmussen poll that came out this week that found 69% of Democratic voters, 77% of Hispanics, and 70% of voters, young adults my age, all support Trump's mass deportation plan. But to Lisa's point, this is part of the long-term gamble that the Democrats made several years ago, where they are willing to sacrifice political opportunity right now for supplanting the entire country's population, replacing it with a new demographic base. And I think even the willingness to die on this particular hill of Abrego Garcia is actually a very clear message from the Democratic Party, which is that if they are willing to go to bat repeatedly and this aggressively for an alleged gangbanger, an alleged wife beater, a verifiable illegal alien whose case has already been adjudicated by 2 immigration courts, both of which found that he can and should be removed from this country, they are going to make it downright impossible to deport anyone else. And of course, this was always part of the plan. You remember back to Trump 1.0 when we had the AOC photo ops and the kids in cages hoax. We've just skipped from that to, oh no, won't someone please think of the terrorists? They're not even trying to hide it anymore. That's the play.
And Republicans, meanwhile, are capitalizing on it, Tom. The NRCC, so this is the House campaign arm of the Republican Party, put out a statement, and it read in part, we'll pay for the plane tickets for these House Democrats going to El Salvador and Senate Democrats. They just can't forget to smile for the cameras as they sell out their constituents. And then the NRSC, that's the Republican Senate campaign arm, they put out an ad. Watch this.
Welcome to El Salvador, home to breathtaking sunsets, world-class surf breaks, and gangbanger Kilmer Abrego Garcia. So what are you waiting for, Senate Democrats? Join your colleagues and step into the rhythm of rescue today.
They seem to like what the Democrats are doing.
That is hilarious. That's the first time I saw that thing. Obviously, because the Republicans, they have a good message to run on here. Unlike the last Trump administration, when his back was against the wall with the kids in cages situation, we were able to, we were not able to control the narrative back then. It seems like now, instead of the kids in cages, instead of, oh, the administration is being really mean, we have people arguing over whether this guy beat his wife or not, whether it's an MS-13, tattoo on his fist. They obviously are in a good position. And you look at the American people, more than 50% agree with deporting all illegal aliens. And I think most people, when they look at this and they look at the judge's decision, the recent decision by the Supreme Court, they don't understand the details of this. What they know is that there are criminals running around our country, that we had an invasion. And they think, why can't they go outside of our country while they wait for due process? That's what most people are thinking.
Yeah, that's the common sense reaction of the American public. But don't leave common sense, average American thinking to the far left of the party.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.